Cecilia.
I'm Caitlin.
I'm Marlena.
I'm Marissa.
This is our Philosophy of Mind presentation over the Ted Bundy case.
The purpose of this presentation is to apply the concepts from the philosophy of mind to the Ted Bundy case.
We'll then describe the 4 different types of dualism that led us to our verdict.
After, we will select the most plausible theory from the 4 dualistic approaches.
Finally, we will apply 4 different types of objections and responses.
A brief summary of Ted Bundy's life begins on November 24th in Birmingham, Vermont. Bundy was a very intelligent and successful young man. However, as a teenager, he began conveying a heartless essence.
In 1972, Bundy graduated from the University of Washington, where he began a career in politics and law. His short-lived career ended in 1974 when he began his crime path and assaulted his first victim.
In order to prey on young women, Bundy would pretend to be injured and wait outside colleges in the states of Washington, Utah, Colorado, and Florida. Once the round women would offer their assistance to him, he would knock them unconscious, immobilize them, then proceed to take them away in his vehicle.
After capturing his victims, Bundy would murder and then rape the women in forms of strangling or beating. Finally, after their death, he would take the women to his home, mutilate their bodies, and to continue to obtain sexual gratification from their corpses.
The first type of dualism we will be talking about is interactive substance dualism. This is where the mind and body are 2 distinct substances with distinct essences, yet the 2 substances interact. Bundy's mind influenced his body, therefore he was conscious of his crimes. He understood his actions and what he was doing, which interacted with his body. Ted Bundy's mind produced the thoughts of killing and sexually abusing girls, which then his physical body carried out.
Non-interactive substance dualism and occasionalism. God intervenes in the world and makes it appear that mind and body interact. Since God controls the mind, God put the thoughts of killing and raping the innocent women in his head, which then influenced his body to follow through with his actions.
In epiphenomenalism, mental states are ineffacious byproducts of physical states. Consciousness is derived from behavior, but the behavior itself does not cause consciousness. Furthermore, our thoughts and desires are caused by activities in the brain, but they do not have any effects in return. So Ted Bundy's desire to kill and rape the woman did not cause him to act upon his desires.
Panpsychism, otherwise known as elemental property dualism, is the view that everything in the world has some mental aspect. If accepted that everything in the world has some mental aspect or consciousness, no matter how big or small, then you accept that Ted Bundy is guilty of his crimes because to some extent, no matter how sizable, his concurs in his actions to murder them. He was concurrous in his actions to murder them later rape his victims. We selected interactive substance dualism as our most plausible theory because Ted Bundy was conscious in his mind, which interacted with his body to feel pleasure when committing his crimes. Interactive substance dualism consists of both the mental thinking and physical non-thinking, which is stated by Descartes.
The first objection is the mind and body problem, which the problem raises the question, how is it possible for essential distinct substances interact? It does not seem possible for there to be relations between 2 distinct metaphysical realms. These 2 realms are the physical realm, which are materialistic objects, and the mental realm, which is mind and souls. When applying this to the Ted Bundy case, he is not guilty of his crimes, because it is seemingly impossible for there to be an association between the 2 realms, therefore he did not commit the crimes.
Is that the right sign?
It's all on one side.
Oh, okay. Our second objection that we will raise is the problem of self and personal identity. This attempts to raise the question of how am I the same self or I throughout time? Without justification, do we have to deem that there is a psychological substance in addition to our physical bodies? There is no way to be able to explain that Bundy's mind and body interacted when one is not able to explain that there is a mental substance in the first place, making it incapable for Bundy to be held responsible for his actions.
The third objection is the problem of mental causation and epiphenomenalism, which displays that supposing we can explain how physical causes the mental, how does the mental cause the physical? Nothing can enter the physical world and cause something to happen in the physical world. Therefore, mental states are not physical, which means that they cannot be a part of the physical world or act in any way into the physical world. In the Ted Bundy case, his mental state that he was in has no effect on the physical world, which means he did not commit his crimes. Therefore, he is not guilty.
Our final objection is the problem of free will, which demonstrates that interactive substance dualism violates the laws of physics. Free will is essential in a person's mind. Therefore, how can it affect the physical world if the physical world is already determined? Every event that happens in the physical world is caused by another physical event. So even if a person does have mental free will, it does not affect the behavior of their body, because those behaviors are determined by the rest of the physical universe. In relation to the Ted Bundy case, this problem proves him innocent because the physical world is not influenced. Therefore, his free will to commit the crime or follow through with his actions did not occur.
In response to the mind and body problem, the body has a definite shape and position, which means that is the physical aspect in the mind and body problem. The mind aspect is derived from a human's ability to form coherent thoughts and perceive emotions. Both of these aspects interact with one another in the Ted Bundy case because his thoughts were influenced by his body's desires, which then were carried out by the crimes itself. Even though they are distinct substances, they both interact with one another, which proves that Ted Bundy is guilty.
In response to the self and personal identity problem, humans are tangible matter. We have mass, density, arms, legs, and a head. However, unlike palpable substances, humans have the ability to form judgments and prove their existence, alluding that we have minds or intellect. Ted Bundy has a mind and a tangible body, and they interacted before he pursued his victims, which proves that there is no way to explain that there is a way to explain that there is a mental aspect to your body.
Contradicting to the problem of mental causation and epiphenomenalism, a person's mental thoughts and desires can result in one's actions. So the physical and mental world can combine or at least interact with each other at times. Relaying this response to the Ted Bundy case, his mental phenomena that he was experiencing caused his body to follow through with his desires and murder and rape the woman.
Response to the problem of free will. Humans have free will. This means that everyone has a choice whether to do something or not. As long as one has the ability to follow through with the action and other options to choose from, one has free will. Ted Bundy, for example, had the choice not to kill the woman but chose otherwise. In conclusion, because of interactive substance dualism, we believe that Ted Bundy is guilty of his crimes.
By creating objections using Searle's A Dozen Problems in the Philosophy of Mind, we were able to objectify to the most plausible theory and reference them to our case.
In the end, we were able to respond to these objections and provide sufficient responses as to why interactive substance dualism is the most plausible theory.
The value of the philosophy of mind is able to expand on the knowledge and views outside of the knowledge we already know. Uncertainty provides different explanations of all different approaches without being confined to a certain perspective or obtainable knowledge. It contributes the ability to keep wandering into new ideas with an open mind.
And those are our references.
Yes.